Hello, this will be my first voiced video on YouTube in honor of Art Fight. Since I'm redesigning some of my characters already to get them ready for Art Fight, I was thinking why not share them on the internet as well so others could know more about my characters. So I set up a small challenge for myself. I'm going to post, not daily, speed paint and stories about my OCs before Art Fight happens. And if I don't finish by then, I'll continue posting videos of my OCs during Art Fight as well. Alright, let me start with the first character of today. This character is Tolstoy. He's a Bongo Stray Dogs OC I made for my organization called the Skein Crest. During these videos, I'll slowly provide more and more information on this because he's only 1/8 of the members. He's the first to be featured because Tolstoy was my most recently redesigned character, which, well, to me is quite a satisfactory redesign compared to. Anyway, continuing, let me give a short summary of his lore. Tolstoy is the second in command in the marketing team, a gambler at face value, but he's truly just lonely. He was homeless growing up and his ability deemed him as a monster, which caused his parents to abandon him and his younger brother. His younger brother suffered the most out of the two of them, and Tolstoy would plead to everyone he saw to help his brother since the hospitals were too expensive. One day he managed to cling onto Vaisley's leg, which is a Bongo Stray Dogs OC that will be talked about soon later on. He's the leader of the organization, and Tolstoy didn't let go since you don't see a rich person walking around very often where he was, and he begged Vaisley to help his brother. Luckily, Vaisley saw use in Tolstoy and offered help with exchange that Tolstoy joined the Skein Crest and work for him and stay loyal to him for life. And Tolstoy agreed. Tolstoy's whole thing is being a vampire, yet that's the only part of him that he despises. He was abandoned because of this, and his parents thought he was a monster. Since he attacked some of the livestock, and out of fear that their children were cursed, they abandoned Tolstoy and his brother in the streets while they were asleep. And even on the streets he faced prejudice, as only his brother would stay by his side. Shelters didn't accept him because of his behavior, and people were afraid to help him. Tolstoy grew to hate drinking blood. He would refuse to drink blood because of this. Tolstoy didn't want to be seen as a monster and be hated. He didn't like how he was different from others. His ability was more like a curse than it was a power. And if Tolstoy had the option to provoke it, he most likely would have done so a long time ago. His ability grants him extra strength, enhanced lifespan, etc. Basically just like a normal vampire, but he doesn't burn in the sun since he's still technically human, so kind of like a half vampire, half human. He was practically taken in by the Skein Crest and thrown under training from Sir Calsfate to make up for the years of missing education, and eventually he integrated himself into the business since he wanted to be of help to Calsfate for helping his brother. Tolstoy is forever loyal to him for what he has done and for the warmth that he's been given. He spends most of his days at work visiting his brother and helping Vera and Michaela at the orphanage. I'm not sure if his looks gave it away, but his personality is kind of based off of Aventurine from Honkai Star Rail. I love gambling! But he's definitely more fragile compared to him. He also has aspects from Seraph of the End. Oh my god, I love that show. Season 3 when? I can't keep waiting for the manga to update. It's grueling waiting every time for the next chapter. Sorry. Surprisingly, Tolstoy was not based on Bram, even though his ability turned out quite similar to his vampires, and I was honestly unsure if I should change the ability later on, but eventually I thought, the vampires are different enough, it's fine. For his color palette, I used red and yellow for his eyes and hair, and blue and black for his clothes. I wanted to make the clothes black and red, but Tolstoy also doesn't like the whole vampire thing, and I didn't want to change the color to black and red to go into those vampire-ish stereotypes, since red is a very vampire-y color. He has little wings on the back since, but he's malnourished on blood. If he were to have more blood, he could make them larger on will. Plus, he usually just hides them since he wants to appear more human. Honestly, not sure why I covered his other eye. I didn't want to draw 2 eyes. Also, I don't want to hear Gunnar bait for the clothes. You're damn right it is. And I think it looks great on him, though not really work appropriate. But I think that's more of a TikTok thing to say since I do post more on TikTok. He has a lot of piercings, so whenever people ask about his vampire teeth, he would usually give the excuse that it's just like add-ons to his teeth, you know, like those permanent vampire teeth some people get, and then, or he'd just say like they're really realistic piercings. I wanted to make him look elegant and as vampire-coated as he could get, just to rub it into his face that he will always be a vampire no matter how much he hates it. It's something he has to learn to live with instead of pushing it away like Atushi and the tiger. Tolstoy's one of the physically weaker characters in the Skin Crest, even though he's kind of powered up because of his ability. Tolstoy's also heavily malnourished on blood, so there really isn't much power-upping to do. He also has pretty good luck, being a gambler and all. Nagito mentioned, sorry. The only person he isn't capable of winning against is Kalsfate, whose luck is superb compared to Tolstoy's. While he is weaker physically, Tolstoy's job doesn't revolve around physical strength. Bit of info on the Skin Crest. The Skin Crest is a large conglomerate with many branches within it. It also has a bit of a deeper side to it. The Skin Crest is a heavily influential business, which makes it prime for many things, and since the owner is very open-minded, as long as someone could offer him a deal that's worthy, Kalsfate would willingly accept their commission. It doesn't matter who it's from, whether it's from the Decay of Angels or the Armed Detective Agency, as long as the deal's right, Kalsfate would work with everyone. And the only reason why he's not been taken down yet is simply because the Skin Crest is too large and influential. It'd be too much of a burden to disrupt it. Tolstoy's main role in this is the negotiator. He's very good with words, and the Skin Crest's first way to resolve problems is always through peaceful negotiations, since they prefer to always go the easy route, which can benefit everyone. Tolstoy is basically the first kind of defense, the negotiator who tries to end things before more problems can start up. Onto relationships, Tolstoy highly admires Kalsfate, which I forgot to mention earlier was Vasely's fake name. Tolstoy sees him as his savior. Oh my god, Luca from Alien Stage mentioned. Okay, joking. But Vasily literally did save Tolstoy, and Tolstoy is forever thankful for that. He would do everything in his power to help Kalsfate with whatever he needs, but sadly, other than work, sometimes Tolstoy doesn't see Kalsfate much. More of this will be explained in Kalsfate's video, but he's honestly just not one to show himself. He's like one of those important background characters. Tolstoy wishes to get closer to Kalsfate, but he was never truly able to get closer with his savior. Next up is Tolstoy's relationship with Vera. He has a one-sided crush on Vera, but he doesn't say a thing because he knows that she doesn't love him back. He had accepted this fact a long time ago, but he has no control over his feelings. It wasn't like he could just magically make them go away. Since Vera was the first real friend Tolstoy made, she was already special to him. Kalsfate was more distant compared to Vera, so it was a different type of relationship. Vera never shunned Tolstoy since she herself was also seen as something inhuman, and she would often offer her blood to Tolstoy whenever he was starving himself. They were both very close and cared for one another, and Tolstoy couldn't help but fall in love with her. But Vera showed no interest back. She saw him like a brother at best, and nothing more than that. They joke around and bicker with each other, and Vera, who was usually more closed off, didn't fear dragging Tolstoy out everywhere to do her bidding, and they are basically inseparable. Kind of reminds me of Missy and Till from Alien Stage. Tolstoy and Lao Shi are workers of the same firm. Tolstoy is second in command of the advertisement branch, while Lao Shi is the leader. Lao Shi kind of freaks Tolstoy out, and he also pushes a lot of the responsibilities onto Tolstoy while Lao Shi runs off to do his own things. Lao Shi scares Tolstoy. It's not anything that he's done, but it's just his aura that tickles Tolstoy the wrong way. Mira and Tolstoy aren't really close since Mira is a master at not touching grass, but Tolstoy still respects her as a co-worker since her work is always top tier, though her personality is also a bit eccentric. Tolstoy is pretty close with Castro. Castro is the first person Tolstoy calls when he's trying to find Lao Shi, since he's too timid to drag him back to work himself. Castro is always there to help Tolstoy and listen to him. Almost like a therapist, even though that isn't Castro's job. He still willingly comforts Tolstoy and always calms him down. Mikhail is Vera's guardian, so Tolstoy is also in very good relations with him since they see each other very often at the orphanage. Mikhail treats Tolstoy like he would treat any other child, even though he was fully grown, just like Vera. Tolstoy didn't mind it. he quite enjoyed the attention since he was without parents most of his life. Tolstoy also takes his brother to the orphanage often if he isn't at the hospital. Mikhail would help take care of Tolstoy's brother from time to time, and Tolstoy in return would help take care of the orphanage whenever he had the chance. Lyudmila honestly scared Tolstoy, and it's not because she's a strong woman, it's because she seems to hate Tolstoy for no apparent reason at all. And she's one of the strongest physically and ability-wise in the faction, so Tolstoy tries to avoid her to not get on her bad side. Tolstoy also made acquaintances with Atushi since he's the first to be sent to the armed detective agency if there's a negotiation that needs to be struck with them. Tolstoy is quite friendly with Fukuzawa as well, from a business standpoint mainly. His character, I'd like to say, is one of the simplest out of the rest of the Skiing Crest, but his insecurity and fear of dehumanization really makes him a fun character to draw and write. Finally, the grand reveal. It was honestly really fun talking about Tolstoy, and I love his redesign so much more than his old design just because it has a lot more personality. It makes him look more refined, and oh my god, that foot on his old design. Someone pointed it out on Instagram and I never forgot it since. After that, I just knew I had to redesign him eventually. Anyway, thank you for sticking around with me for my speed paint and the story of Tolstoy. Please check me out on Artfight at chard_lily, and drop your art fights in the comments too. I really want to see everyone's characters. Thank you!